Now we are live. Mr. Vikas Verma, please go ahead.
Hmm. Very warm good evening to all of you. So let's start our webinar on the very latest and dynamic topic, artificial intelligence and the advocacy. So today, today is the Advocates Day and the birth anniversary of Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So may I start with we have our chairman Vinod Kumar Goyal, who is the chairman of All India Lawyers Forum and former Council of Government of Delhi also. And we have with Durgesh Gupta, advocate on record and vice president All India Lawyers Forum. And we have with Abhinav Singh, advocate government of UP, MP and Delhi also. And he is the president of All India Lawyers Forum. So we have with Pragya Prijat Singh, advocate on record and executive member of SCORA and foreign coordinator of AILF. We have with my Lord Justice Talwan Singh, who is our chief guest, retired Judge Delhi High Court and senior advocate of Supreme Court of India, and dynamic speaker, and our another guest, Dr. Pavan Duggal, cyber law expert in India. So it is my privilege to welcome you, all of you to this webinar, a new era of collaboration between the humans and machines. So today, this webinar organized by specially All India Lawyers Forum only. In this evening, so I tell you about the some struggle about the courts, that courts are struggling with the challenges like backlog cases, increased complexities in the justice delivery. So artificial intelligence present a transformative opportunity to address these issues, streamlining legal research, managing workflows, and even enhancing the decision making. However, it will also raise important questions about the ethics and the irreplaceable human touch in our profession. Today, we bring together our guest experts to explore how we can embrace artificial intelligence responsibly to strengthen the legal system. I thank all our panelists for their time and insights, and all of you for joining us for what promises to be an enlightening the discussion. So, I over to Mr. Durgesh Gupta. Can you proceed further?
So I would like to introduce our first speaker, Justice Talwan Singh. So Justice Talwan Singh was born on 4 June 1961 in Hoshiarpur, Punjab, and pursued a distinguished academic journey, earning degree in commerce and law, including an advanced diploma in management. He joined the Delhi Bar in 1986, practicing in corporate, family, civil, and criminal law before joining the Delhi Higher Judicial Service in 2000. He served as district and session judge across multiple districts, accumulating as district and session judge headquarter at Tees Hazari Court. Elevated as a judge in Delhi High Court on 27 May 2019, he retired on 3 June 2023. Justice Singh is a pioneer in use of ICT in judiciary, contributing to the computerization of over 1400 courts as member judicial of Supreme Court E-Committee. He also played a key role in developing India's first paperless e-court at district court level and was instrumental in creating the National Case Information System. He accomplished author and educator. Justice Singh has penned manuals, articles, and reports on ICT in judiciary and delivered lectures globally on cyber law and judicial technology. His visionary contribution continue to inspire innovation in judicial process. Please join me in welcoming retired Justice of Honorable Delhi High Court, Justice Talwan Singh. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, good evening and happy Advocates Day to all of you. Well, to be true, I came to know that today is Advocates Day only, I think, 2 days ago when Mr. Verma contacted me. I was in judiciary for 23 years, so never had the occasion to celebrate the Advocates Day. It's an occasion to do some introspection and to see that the tools which have been provided to us by the advancement in technology, they are used in the right earnest. I remember when we started computerization of courts to be precise, about 22 years ago, people were very circumspect that nothing can happen in these courts will remain as it is. All of you must be knowing that, or the people who were in practice around the year 2000, they know that the courts were only using typewriters. Preparation of causes used to take a long time, and the advocates were also using manual typewriters for drafting of their petitions. In case there are some errors on one page, then you again go for retyping and all. It's a history now. So it took us some time, about you can say one decade or so, for the courts to be computerized. Delhi took the lead, and Delhi courts were computerized, and it was followed by other states. The states like Karnataka, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, they developed their deployed their computer systems in court simultaneously, and other states it took some time. As far as this new technology of AI is concerned, I think every technology has got its positive sides and its negative side. If we talk about advocacy, the advocacy is about upholding justice, interpreting the law, and making sure that everyone is treated fairly. Although it has a long history, the profession is always changing to adapt to the demands of society. In contrast, the artificial intelligence, we call it AI, is a quickly developing technology that can analyze, learn, and carry out activities that previously required human intelligence. The potential for innovation is enormous when these two realms combine, but there are also significant ethical obligations and constraints. Let us start by looking at the concrete ways AI is transforming the practice of law. Legal research and document review are two areas where AI has made a major impact. AI-powered tools may now finish tasks like searching through statutes, contracts, and case law that used to take hours or even days in just a few minutes. Lawyers can find precedents and patterns with unprecedented efficiency thanks to these computers' natural language learning and processing capabilities. I was discussing AI with one of my senior colleague today itself. He says now there is a predictive analysis. You feed your facts in the system, and you feed the judgments of a judge, which have been delivered by the concerned judge in the last few years. The computer will tell you exactly what is going to be the outcome of your petition before a particular judge. I think that is quite a dangerous trend that we are heading to. AI is also changing how contracts are drafted and analyzed. These days, there are platforms that can create contracts, point out possible hazards, and recommend changes, all of which save time and minimize human mistake. Predictive analysis, I was talking about predictive analysis right now. Tools for litigation can evaluate a case chances of victory based on previous decisions, which aids attorneys in better planning their strategies. So now the planning in India will be the bench hunting. That if I go before this bench, my AI engine says that your chances of losing this case are 80%. Don't go there. So there's another bench, same facts. There are chances that that bench will, consider your case in a favorable way. So people will try to go before that bench. That is the negative side of AI, you can say. Additionally, AI is removing obstacles to justice access. Legal representation is not a right, but rather a luxury in many regions of the world, including India. Artificial intelligence powered chatbots and systems are increasingly aiding people with simple legal questions, creating basic documents, and even navigating small claim courts. By doing this, AI democratizes access to legal resources by acting as a bridge for people who can't afford traditional legal services. As you may be knowing, in Delhi, this traffic challan system is almost automated with the help of AI. So the human intervention in traffic challan code system is very minimal. But enormous powers like AI also comes with immense responsibility. There are urgent ethical concerns as AI becomes more integrated into the legal industry. Algorithmic bias is one of the main issues. So there's an old saying for computer geeks that is called garbage in, garbage out. So since the AI is going to only examine the data which you have fed in, so you have to be very careful when you feed the data. The quality of AI systems depends on the quality of data they are trained on. The algorithm might reinforce or even magnify societal biases if this data reflects them. Such biases can have disastrous effect in the legal field, especially when it comes to hiring decisions in law firms or predicting sentences. Security and privacy of data are also important concerns. Since we work as advocates and handle sensitive client data, using AI tools requires strong security measures to guard against breaches and misuse. Through the deployment of deepfakes or the unintentional disclosure of personal data like their names and addresses, advocates' use of generative AI may raise privacy issues that directly affect them and their clients. The use of generative AI to create videos of people speaking in various languages to attract support and attention from all over the world has increased due to the rise of deepfakes and generative AI technologies that enable text to video generation. However, advocates must be careful about what they are getting into when they give their data or the data of those they support to artificial intelligence, as it may be used for nefarious purposes like digital clones or inappropriate deepfakes. We must keep in mind that AI cannot replace human intelligence, discretion, and empathy. It is a significant partner that can improve our capacity to protect justice and assist clients. Nonetheless, advocacy's humanity is its fundamental quality. No machine can replace the indispensable traits of empathy, moral thinking, and the capacity to establish a human connection with clients. Let's approach the adoption of AI with a clear vision and a steadfast dedication to justice. In addition to making the judicial system more effective, we can make it more inclusive and egalitarian by using this technology sensibly. We have a leadership challenge as well as an adoption issue. As advocates, we have a rare chance to influence how AI is incorporated into our field, making sure technology advances society while upholding the integrity and dignity of the law. Let's take on this problem and create a future where justice is robust, equitable, and accessible by fusing the finest of human creativity with the revolutionary potential of AI. Thank you very much. I thank you all the organizers of today's webinar and wish all of you a happy Advocates Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a compelling and riveting discussion on the topic that we have in our hand today. And just on the cider note, I would like to tell everyone that apart from judicial work, sir already had a great passion for the use of information and communication technology in courts and has been active in this field for more than 18 years. And he has made some serious and humble contribution in computer of district courts in Delhi. Recognizing Sir's interest in information and communication technology, his services were requisitioned by Honorable Supreme Court of India, and Sir was eventually made a member judicial of the E Committee in the year 2013. So thank you for all your contributions, sir. And namaste, good evening. My name is Pragya Parijat Singh. I'm an advocate on record at Supreme Court and also the international coordinator for All India Lawyers Forum. I welcome.
Pragya, on the lighter note, most part of my lecture was written by AI.
Nothing. Plus the
So
topic that
we got our first draft from AI, then my
yes,
team worked on it. So this way, I think the advocate should work. You can have the basic, you can say, structure or basic draft from the AI. Then you have to put your own touch in it. This is what is required. You can't simply copy paste from the chatbot or whatever, GPT, whatever you use. This is my advice. Thank you. Thank you.
we are definitely treading towards very, very interesting times. The idea is to see how we are able to maintain a semblance between the physical presence of lawyers vis-a-vis the technology that is coming. So thank you so much, sir, for your great speech. Moving on to the second part of the discussion today, we have a very, very esteemed guest with us, Dr. Pavan Duggal. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, a very happy Advocates Day to all of you. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Pavan Duggal, a globally celebrated expert in cyber law, recognized among the top cyber lawyers worldwide by platforms like Google Bard, Microsoft Copilot, and ChatGPT. He is ranked among the top 10 cyber lawyers globally by the World Domain Day. Dr. Duggal is the founder and chairman of the International Commission on Cybersecurity Law, president of cyberlaws.net, and honorary chancellor of Cyberlaw University. A trailblazer in emerging legal fields, he leads the Artificial Intelligence Law Hub, Blockchain Law Epicenter, and the Metaverse Law Nucleus. Sir has authored 199 books on law, many acclaimed by Book Authority, and has delivered over 3,000 lectures at conference worldwide. As the conference director of the International Conference on Cyber Law, Cybercrime, and Cybersecurity, Dr. Duggal continues to global legal discourse. Please join me in welcoming the visionary leader shaping the future of digital law, Dr. Pavan Duggal. Sir, हम बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हैं और शुक्रगुजार हैं कि आप आए और इस डिस्कशन का पार्ट बने. Over to you, sir.
थैंक यू फॉर दोस काइंड वर्ड्स. नमस्कार, स्वागत है आप सभी का और आप सभी को आज के उपलक्ष्य पर शुभकामनाएं अधिवक्ता दिवस के मौके पर. Today when we celebrate the Advocates Day, we celebrate the profession of advocacy. We celebrate how we are contributing to our own noble profession to the betterment of society at large. And therefore, we are nothing but servants of society who are committed towards upholding the principles of rule of law and trying to get maximum justice to the various stakeholders and help in the administration of justice in a constantly changing sociological, societal ecosystem. आज जब हम बात कर रहे हैं आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस और एडवोकेसी के संबंध के बारे में, तो बहुत सी चीजें दिमाग से निकलती हैं. पहली बात कि हम तो वकील हैं, हमें आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस की क्या जरूरत है. दूसरा कि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस है तो है, उससे हम पर क्या प्रभाव पड़ने वाला है. See, we have to be mindful of the fact that 10 years back, it used to be said that the legal profession is one profession which has changed the least in the last 200 years. And I can tell you now, this very legal profession is going to be one profession which will be changing the most in the next 5 to 10 years. ये तमाम सी बातें इसलिए संभव हो पा रही हैं क्योंकि टेक्नोलॉजी ने हम लोगों के जो व्यवसाय है उस पर अपना एक विशिष्ट छाप छोड़ दी है और यही टेक्नोलॉजी कहीं ना कहीं पूरी तरीके से परिवर्तित करने वाली है जिस तरीके से हम वकालत करेंगे, हम अपनी वकालत का व्यवसाय आगे संभालेंगे, बढ़ाएंगे. So clearly as lawyers, we have to be mindful of the fact of these newly emerging technologies so that we can be prepared for the future. कहा जाता है कि आप अगर भविष्य को देख सकें तो आप दुनिया के सबसे धनी व्यक्ति हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि आप जान सकते हैं कि आने वाले समय में क्या होने वाला है. लेकिन भविष्य को देखना एक आर्ट है, साइंस है, हर एक के पास ये सुविधा उपलब्ध नहीं होती. But now when we use these emerging technologies, I can clearly see some major trends happening on the horizon on artificial intelligence, on emerging technologies, and their impact upon our advocacy, upon the legal profession, and the way how the nature, the character, and the intrinsic feature of the legal profession is going to change dramatically. Let me begin with what Justice Talwan Singh has actually left us to ponder. Justice Singh said that his speech was initially generated by artificial intelligence, and then came the human intervention, the human mind, which worked on it and made up the final speech. That is supposed to be what is going to be a classical mix of collaboration between humans and the machine. और ये होना भी चाहिए भाई, हम वकील हैं, कहीं ना कहीं सेफ गार्ड करते हैं वैल्यूज को, रूल ऑफ लॉ को, अदालतों को, जजों को मदद करते हैं कि वो न्याय की प्रक्रिया को और सशक्त बना सकें और न्याय को एडमिनिस्टर प्रॉपरली सही दिशा में कर सकते हैं हमारे संविधान के सिद्धांतों को मद्देनजर रखते हुए. बट एट द सेम टाइम we as lawyers have a bigger important duty to be mindful of what is emerging on the horizon and then come up with our appropriate readiness mechanisms. एक बात होती है readiness index की. अगर मैं लीगल प्रोफेशन का readiness index देखूं तो मैं पाऊंगा कि अधिकांश लीगल प्रोफेशन का की जो readiness level है वो उतनी ज्यादा पर्याप्त नहीं है जितना उसको होना चाहिए. और उसका रीजन ये है, हम लोगों को लगता है हम वकालत करते हैं, हम वकील हैं, हम सब कुछ जानते हैं, लिहाजा जैसे हम वकालत करते आए हैं वैसे ही वकालत होती रहेगी, चीजें नहीं बदलेंगी. हम भूल जा रहे हैं कि जो बदलाव की हवाएं हैं वो उतनी ज्यादा पावरफुल हैं और इतनी ज्यादा सशक्त रूप से हमारे समक्ष आ रही हैं कि कहीं ना कहीं हम सबको पूरी तरीके से परिवर्तित करने की क्षमता रखते हैं. So therefore, we as the legal profession will have to be mindful of these emerging technologies, their powerful impact as it's going to have on us, and the need for us to be more ready in terms of readiness for dealing with these emerging technologies. लेकिन उससे पहले एक कहानी, ये कहानी जो सत्य की कहानी है, कहानी भारत की नहीं है, कहानी अमेरिका की है. और ये कहानी हुई पिछले साल. कहानी सुनाता हूं ताकि आप कहीं ना कहीं आभास कर लें कि हमें क्या करने की आवश्यकता है. सो इन अमेरिका देयर इज लीगल प्रोसीडिंग्स दैट वाज गोइंग ऑन. हवाई जहाज में कोई यात्रा तय कर रहा था कोई यात्री. हवाई जहाज में टर्बुलेंस थी. टर्बुलेंस की वजह से हवाई जहाज में यात्रा करते हुए यात्री को चोट लग गई. वो लैंड किया, अपने वकीलों के पास पहुंचा और उसने एक दृढ़ संकल्प किया कि मुझे एयरलाइंस पर मुकदमा ठोकना है. सो ही एक्चुअली सूड द एयरलाइंस फॉर पर्सनल इंजरी इन एन एविएशन मैटर. द मैटर वाज बिफोर एन अमेरिकन कोर्ट. काफी देर से मामला चल रहा था. एक दिन बहस के बाद अमेरिकी जज ने कहा दोनों वकीलों को कि साहब आप आइए, आप अपने कल सुबह तक रिटन आर्ग्यूमेंट्स दाखिल करिए. सो कॉन्सिक्वेंटली इट वाज एंड ऑफ द डे the lawyers for the complainant didn't have much time और complicated matter था, आपको डिटेल्ड आर्ग्यूमेंट्स देनी थी, समय कम था. तो इन लॉयर्स ने चैट जीपीटी के बारे में सुन रखा था. तो वो चैट जीपीटी पर गए और उन्होंने अपने पूरे मुकदमे के फैक्ट्स उस चैट जीपीटी पर डाल दिए और कहा कि कृपया आप रिटन आर्ग्यूमेंट्स जनरेट करिए. कॉन्सिक्वेंटली विद इन अ फ्यू seconds, this artificial intelligence algorithm was able to generate written arguments for the lawyers, for the complainant. अब उस written arguments में चैट जीपीटी ने करीबन 6 या 7 अमेरिकी मुकदमों का जिक्र किया और उसमें उसके extracts डाले. So when the lawyers read the written arguments, they found that the artificial intelligence had actually quoted 6 or 7 American cases. So as lawyers, as part of due diligence, they they actually asked artificial intelligence program, look, you quoted these 6, 7 cases. I hope they are correct and accurate. And the reference for the same is also accurate. Artificial intelligence replied, absolutely fine, they're all accurate. तो जब artificial intelligence ने ये आपको भरोसा दिला दिया कि 6-7 मुकदमे जो मैंने कोट किए हैं बिल्कुल सही हैं, इनके एक्सट्रैक्ट सही हैं और आप बिल्कुल निश्चिंत हो जाएं, तो वास्तविक तौर पर वकील निश्चिंत हो गए. और अगले दिन उन्होंने आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस द्वारा निर्मित जो रिटन आर्ग्यूमेंट्स थी उसको कट कॉपी पेस्ट किया, प्रिंट किया और अदालत में दाखिल कर दिया. एंड देन आफ्टर सम टाइम व्हेन द मैटर केम अप फॉर हियरिंग बिफोर द अमेरिकन कोर्ट्स, the court found that it was facing a peculiar situation. अदालत को पता लगा कि साहब इन रिटन आर्ग्यूमेंट्स में जितने भी केसेस मेंशन किए गए थे वो सारे केसेस मौजूद ही नहीं थे। लिहाजा वकीलों को बोला गया कि सर इन जजमेंट्स का जिक्र नहीं आ रहा तो इनकी कॉपी जरूर दे दीजिए। अब वहां पर जब वकीलों ने समय मांगा और फिर जाकर देखा तो वकीलों को शायद लगने लग गया कि शायद हम लोग गलती कर चुके हैं, हम लोगों ने झूठे मुकदमे दाखिल किए हैं। लेकिन फिर भी वकील कहीं ना कहीं दलील देते रहे। एंड अल्टीमेटली द कोर्ट फाउंड that the written arguments were perverse in as much as they were mentioning cases that did not exist. The judgments that was actually quoted in the written arguments were non-existent. ना तो वो पार्टीज मौजूद थी, ना वो जजेस मौजूद थे, ना वो अदालतों में कभी इस प्रकार के फैसले कभी हुए थे, और ना ही उनके जो रेफरेंस दिए गए थे वो सही थे। तो अदालत ने फिर निर्णय लिया, अदालत के सामने बहस हुई। अदालत को बोला गया कि साहब इन वकीलों का लाइसेंस सस्पेंड किया जाए। क्यों? क्योंकि इन्होंने बेसिक ड्यू डिलिजेंस नहीं कर रखी है, सावधानी नहीं बरती हुई है। तो अल्टीमेटली अदालत ने निर्णय लिया कि साहब ऐसा है, आप पर कुछ कार्रवाई तो होनी पड़ेगी। चलिए लाइसेंस आपका नहीं सस्पेंड करते, लेकिन दोनों वकीलों पर $5,000 का फाइन कर दिया गया। वकीलों ने उस फाइन को कंटेस्ट नहीं किया और $5,000 फाइन दिया। क्यों? क्योंकि वकील भी तब तक अपनी रिसर्च कर चुके थे और वो पा चुके थे कि इस तरह के केसेस मौजूद ही नहीं थे। तो वकीलों से गलती हुई कि उन्होंने आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस पर रिलाई किया और उसके तत्पश्चात उसको बिना सोचे समझे, बिना ड्यू डिलिजेंस किए हुए अदालत में दाखिल किया। और ऑब्वियसली उन्होंने रियलाइज किया कि फाइन देना अच्छा है रादर देन इसको कंटेस्ट करना। But this entire case has actually thrown up a Pandora's box of new issues and challenges. अब आप अंदाजा लगाइए कि इस तरह का अगर किस्सा भारत में होता है और भारत में कोई अधिवक्ता इस तरह के रिटन आर्गुमेंट्स दाखिल करता है तो उस पर क्या बीत सकती है या क्या कानूनी परिस्थितियों का सामना करना पड़ सकता है। बॉटम लाइन इज वेरी क्लियर दैट आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस is only a tool. It's good as a servant, but it's bad as a master. So let's not start taking artificial intelligence as a master, more so when you are lawyers. So please go ahead and use them. When I go to the social media platforms, I find so many of these people coming up with new posts saying, look, your work for 30 days can be done in 3 hours by these tools. Please go ahead and use those tools. And people tend to get swayed away by these tools. The reality is that you need to take these tools of artificial intelligence with a pinch of salt. हमें समझना होगा कि जो हमारा स्वप्न है वो अभी सच्चा नहीं हो रहा। हम लोगों का एक स्वप्न होता है कि चलिए हम एक जादू की छड़ी हमारे हाथ में आ जाए, हम बटन दबाएं और हमारी सारी समस्याओं का समाधान हो जाए। अभी फिलहाल सारे लोग यही सोच रहे हैं कि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस आ गया है और वो नई जादू की छड़ी है जिसको हम घुमाएंगे और हमारी सारी समस्या का समाधान हो जाएगा। मुझे लगता है कि इस मानसिकता से हमें बाहर आना पड़ेगा, इस मानसिक धारणा से हमें बाहर आना पड़ेगा। Let's quickly realize that artificial intelligence as a paradigm is only a work in progress. It's continuing to grow. So it's not yet been perfected. It's growing as we talk forward. And what we are talking of artificial intelligence is nothing but generative artificial intelligence that we are talking about. We are also beginning to see the emergence of conversational artificial intelligence. लेकिन आप कहें कि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस अभी हाल ही में शुरू हुई है तो हम गलत बयानी कर रहे हैं। सन था 1956 पहली बार जॉन मैकार्थी ने इस टर्म को कॉइन किया आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस और कहा कि वो इंटेलिजेंस है जो मशीन की कॉग्निटिव इंटेलिजेंस होगी जो विभिन्न प्रकार के निर्णय लेगी। Consequently, from 1956 till this decade, we have seen various trends, various eras of growth of artificial intelligence. There have been some decades where a lot of work has been done on AI. There also have been some decades which have been AI winters, in as much as very little work was done. But now, ever since in the last few years, ever since generative artificial intelligence has come across, it's opened up a Pandora's box. So, as lawyers, if you want to rely upon artificial intelligence, I don't say don't use it. All I can say is be careful of how you use it. हम लोग रामपुरी चक्कू से तो वाकिफ हैं. अब रामपुरी चक्कू से हम सब्जी भी काट सकते हैं, हम किसी का खून भी कर सकते हैं. निर्धारित हम पर है कि हम किस तरीके से रामपुरी चक्कू का इस्तेमाल करना चाहते हैं. So you quickly realize that artificial intelligence is like the typical Rampuri knife. It itself does not know what particular use it's going to be used to. So it will be dependent on what you will be using AI will determine how effective it's going to be. So if you are using AI for advocacy purposes, handle with care. समझ लीजिए कि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एक आग का दरिया है और डूब के आपको जाना है. तो कहीं ना कहीं आपको अपना बचाव स्वयं करना पड़ेगा. उसका इस्तेमाल जरूर करिए, उससे इनपुट जरूर लीजिए, लेकिन अगर आप उसे अंधाधुंध रिलाई करेंगे तो कहीं ना कहीं गड़बड़ के आसार प्रारंभ हो जाएंगे. और let's quickly realize that India is becoming very litigious. So in this litigious ecosystem, we are beginning to see that the clients are going to sue us as lawyers. आज मैं देखता हूं बहुत सारे लॉ फर्म्स एआई का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं. बहुत सारे लॉ फर्म्स अपने क्लाइंट्स के नाम आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को दे रहे हैं, फैक्ट्स ऑफ द केस दे रहे हैं और भूल रहे हैं कि इसका क्या असर होने वाला है. Yes, we have to quickly realize that in India, we don't have a dedicated data protection law in place. We don't have a privacy law in place. But if you are disclosing your facts or the peculiar names or the details of your client to artificial intelligence, I can clearly tell you that you're playing with fire. Why? Because whatever you're going to feed in artificial intelligence is going to be remaining in the memory of artificial intelligence algorithm. And this memory will be constantly updated and consequently will be used at an appropriate time. But then this memory will only not be limited to you. It will be used by others as well. So lo and behold, you think you are only going to upload certain specific facts of your client's details, quickly realize it's going to be accessed by others, and it could come out in the form of output by computer or AI in such a manner that the entire privacy, both data privacy or personal privacy of your client could stand compromised. And if that happens, the client is likely to sue you. अगर आप चैट जीपीटी इस्तेमाल करते हैं और उसके टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस पढ़ते हैं तो वो खुद आपको चेतावनी देता है. वो कहता है साहब आप मुझे कोई भी कॉन्फिडेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन मत दीजिए. क्यों? क्योंकि आप जो मुझे देने वाले हैं मैं उसको यूज करने वाला हूं. So if you are going to, as lawyers, start giving confidential data of your clients, your client data or other related information to AI, please realize it's already going into a public data pool. And that being so, it could potentially land up compromising your client's confidentiality, your client's data, your client's privacy, and could ultimately boomerang back on you in the form of a potential litigation. Also, you have to be mindful of the fact that whatever the output comes from AI, always see to the pinch of salt, more so when it's dealing with legal matters. So when we are talking of today's topic, AI and advocacy, a new era of collaboration between humans and machines, we are bang on target. We are exploring collaboration. But when we are exploring collaboration, let's quickly realize that this collaboration has to be tread on a very careful, sound, concrete footing. If you are, as lawyers, going to totally rely on AI, the collaboration may soon transform itself into bondage or digital slavery, where you as lawyers are likely to become bondages of, or shall I say, slaves of artificial intelligence. And you could potentially be compromised in terms of performing your advocacy functions and performing your role as advocates per se. Therefore, handling AI with care is important. More so because try asking an AI coder as to how the AI will behave. And even the AI coder will say, I don't know how it will behave. और अगर आप चैट जीपीटी का लेटेस्ट वर्जन इस्तेमाल करते हैं तो थोड़ी अपनी कमर कस लीजिए. जो लेटेस्ट वर्जन आप इस्तेमाल करते हैं उसके अंदर एक नया फंक्शन आ गया है, उसका मेमोरी फंक्शन. यानी कि मैं जो सवाल पूछता हूं वो उस सवाल को आपके मेमोरी के डेटाबेस में डाल देता है, और उस डेटाबेस के आधार पर अगली बार जब सवाल आप पूछेंगे तो मुझे वही संगीत सुनाता है जो मैं सुनना चाहता हूं. So it's not going to be correct that AI will always give me correct information. AI is going to give me doctored information, which is going to be doctored or customized, keeping in mind my requirements, my orientation, my previous queries. So you will have to handle this with a pinch of salt. Second thing that we must keep in mind is the fact that there are no legal frameworks on AI yet. So अगर आप सोचते हैं कि सारी कंपनियां आपको AI मुफ्त में दे रही हैं और वो कोई बहुत बेहतरीन काम कर रही हैं, तो आप गलत सोचते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि ये जब कंपनियां आपको इस प्रकार की वर्ल्ड क्लास सेवाएं दे रही हैं, मुफ्त दे रही हैं, तो आप प्रोडक्ट बन चुके हैं. So please handle these AI in terms of giving minimal information about your own self, because that will stand compromise. Also, I'll tell you about an experiment that I did. हाल ही में पिछले साल भारतीय संसद ने एक नया कानून पारित किया, डिजिटल पर्सनल डेटा प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट 2023. भारत का नया डेटा प्रोटेक्शन लॉ है जो अभी तक लागू नहीं हुआ है, लेकिन होने वाला है क्योंकि सरकार इस पर रूल्स में काम कर रही है. So I did a small experiment with one of these AI programs. I started asking questions about the DPDP Act. And I was quietly listening to whatever the response was coming. I posed with a new account and I started asking questions. The AI started giving me answers to my legal questions very confidently about the Data Protection Act. And for the next half an hour, I was asking questions and the AI was giving me all kinds of answers to the DPDP Act and its ramifications. And when I looked at the watch and it was over 30 minutes, I decided is enough is enough. ब्लफ को कहीं ना कहीं कॉल कर लेना चाहिए. तो मैंने उसको कहा कि साहब ऐसा है, आप मुझे जो जवाब दे रहे हैं फिलहाल सारे आप झूठे हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि आप लॉ का सही मुझे जो इंटरप्रिटेशन दे नहीं रहे. मैं इसलिए कह पा रहा था क्योंकि मैंने लॉ का अध्ययन विशेष तौर पर कर रखा है, तो मुझे कानून के पहलू मालूम है. तो जब मैं सवाल और नुक्ते पूछ रहा था और वो मुझे झूठे जवाब दे रहा था, तो मैं एक स्पेक्टेटर होकर वॉच कर रहा था. लेकिन जब मैंने उसे अंत में बताया कि आपने जो जवाब दिया है गलत दिया है, तो उसने कहा सॉरी मुझसे गलती हो गई, शायद मैं आपको सही तरीके से जवाब नहीं दे बता पाया, अब मैं आपको सही जवाब बताता हूं. एंड देन स्टार्टेड रेक्टिफाइंग इट्स ओन wrong earlier output and started giving me new versions. So that experiment told me that artificial intelligence is not yet mature enough to be fully relied upon for advocacy purposes. आजकल बहुत सारे लॉ फर्म्स इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं अपने लेटर्स लिखने के लिए, लीगल नोटिस लिखने के लिए, रूटीन मंडेन जॉब के लिए. चलिए मंडेन जॉब इस्तेमाल करेंगे, नो प्रॉब्लम, बट द मोमेंट आप इसका इस्तेमाल लीगल काम के लिए करेंगे तो आपको ज्यादा केयरफुल होना पड़ेगा. मैं ये भी जानता हूं कि मेरे पास एक मुकदमा आया है जहां पर क्लाइंट ने हमारे को रीच आउट किया है. वो क्लाइंट किसी और लॉ फर्म का क्लाइंट है और उसने उस लॉ फर्म को कहा कि मेरे बिहाफ पर आप एक लीगल नोटिस जारी करिए. ये मेरे फैक्ट्स हैं. लॉ फर्म के पास अगर जल्दी थी या क्या था, लॉ फर्म ने ये लीगल नोटिस आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस द्वारा जनरेट किया और जनरेट करने के बाद इशू कर दिया और फिर फाइनली एक कॉपी क्लाइंट को दे दी. So when the client looked at it, it looked familiar because this was language that appeared to be that of AI. So the client went to one of these platforms and gave the command for a legal notice. The AI platform gave the exact same notice with the exact same lines, the exact same phrases to the client. And now the client was concerned. Client wants to take action against the law firm because client कहता है कि साहब मैंने एज ए वकालत आपको एक एज ए लॉ फर्म जब एंगेज किया है तो मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि आप अपने मस्तिष्क का इस्तेमाल करेंगे और अगर आप मुझे पैसे लेकर भी एआई का आउटपुट देंगे तो वो मेरे लिए ठीक नहीं है. मैं आपके मतलब कार्रवाई करना चाहूंगा. Now this episode once again tells us the litigious nature of the Indian mind and how lawyers and advocates in India now need to be prepared for new legal exposure in case they are going to rely upon AI. Yes, AI is good in case if you want to do some analytical thought process. देखिए अभी तो दौर चल रहा है AI एजेंट्स का, यानी कि ये असिस्टेंट्स का, जो हम छोटे छोटे काम देते हैं, उन छोटे कामों का जवाब दे देते हैं, उनका पूर्ति कर देते हैं. But now, very quickly on the horizon, we've begun to start seeing the emergence of a new age. I've written my 200th book. मेरी जो 200 वाली किताब है, 200 नंबर की किताब AI एजेंट्स एंड लॉ, जिसमें मैंने AI एजेंट्स की लीगैलिटी पर जिक्र किया है. लेकिन उसी किताब में मैंने बताया है कि साहब बहुत जल्दी ही AI reasoners आ रहे हैं. AI reasoners are those artificial intelligence algorithms which will end up doing intrinsic logic and reasoning. So you can get very complex reasonings done by these AI reasoners, and that's going to be the next level of maturity of AI. So as lawyers, you'll have to be now careful as you whether you use AI agents or AI reasoners. You will still have to be careful. Therefore, वो कहते हैं ना कि साहब मशीन कितनी भी इंटेलिजेंट हो जाए, वो इंसानी दिमाग से इंटेलिजेंट नहीं हो सकती. ये बात को लेकर भी मिथ्या है, भ्रम है, डिस्प्यूट है. क्यों? क्योंकि पिछले साल अब एक नया प्रोग्राम शुरू हो गया है. OpenAI is the company behind ChatGPT. That's now launched a new program. That program is called Super Intelligence Alignment Project. ये प्रोजेक्ट कहता है कि साहब हमें 4 साल दे दीजिए और इन 4 सालों में हम एक ऐसी सुपर इंटेलिजेंस लेकर आने वाले हैं जो पूरे मानव मात्र की क्यूमुलेटिव इंटेलिजेंस से ज्यादा इंटेलिजेंट होगी, सरपास करेगी. If that's going to happen by 2027, clearly we have a lot of work to do. So while we need to come up with guardrails, because there is no laws on AI globally, internationally there's no international treaty on artificial intelligence. Different countries have started coming up with new laws on AI, whether it's European Union, China, New York. लेकिन भारतवर्ष में अभी तक भी हम लोगों ने आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस पर कोई कानून लाने की दिशा में कोई कदम नहीं उठाया है. हमारे पास एकमात्र भारत का सूचना प्रौद्योगिकी कानून है सन 2000. And if we think that the IT Act 2000 is our mother legislation which is going to help us in artificial intelligence, we are mistaken. Why? Artificial intelligence as a paradigm is a very huge paradigm, and it will require more distinctive, dedicated legal frameworks and legal instruments in this regard. लेकिन जब तक कानून नहीं आते तब तक आपको समझना है कि एडवोकेसी के लिए आप लिमिटेड इस्तेमाल करें एआई का तो अच्छा रहेगा. इनपुट फर्स्ट ड्राफ्ट लेना चाहें, जैसे जस्टिस तलवंत सिंह ने कहा, बहुत अच्छी बात है, लेकिन फिर उसको पूरी तरीके से रिलाई ना करें, उस पर शोध करें. Till such time you're not satisfied about the authenticity and veracity of what you have seen or what's being generated by artificial intelligence, that will be the best way forward. हाँ, अपने रूटीन काम जो आप कर सकते हैं एआई के द्वारा वो जरूर कर लीजिए, कोई दिक्कत की बात नहीं, प्रोवाइडेड उसमें लीगल काम ना हो. अब प्रोवाइडेड अगर आपने कुछ रिसर्च करनी हो, प्रोवाइडेड आपने कुछ चीजें इकट्ठे करनी हो, वो एआई बहुत अच्छी तरीके से कर पाएगा. लेकिन अभी भी आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस की ग्रोथ उस लेवल की नहीं हुई है कि वो वकीलों को रिप्लेस कर पाएगा. हाँ, लेकिन हो जाने वाला है. अगर ये सुपर इंटेलिजेंस आ जाएगी तो कहा जा सकता है कि शायद ये सुपर इंटेलिजेंस लॉयर्स को पूरी तरीके से रिप्लेस कर दें. इसलिए हमें समझना है कि हमारी ये वजूद की लड़ाई है. We have an existential threat in the form of artificial intelligence. So be very careful, be mindful of how these developments are taking place in terms of evolution of AI. Be open-minded in terms of adopting these new technologies, but ultimately, please don't rely upon them endlessly. Wait for legal frameworks. Let's quickly realize that there are no ethical principles yet which are being fed in AI. You still don't know how artificial intelligence is going to act in an ethical, in a proper, fair manner. And any reliance without human intervention on AI output could potentially land up into huge problem. Where does that lead us to? That lead us to the intrinsic conclusion that due diligence, care, and caution will have to be the guiding mantras for lawyers, for advocates as we move forward. हम अपना ड्यू डिलिजेंस सावधानी जरूर बरतें, इस्तेमाल जरूर करें, लेकिन समझ लीजिए कि ये केवल एक टूल है और इस टूल को केवल टूल ही समझें, जिंदगी ना समझें तो अच्छा रहेगा. बिकॉज नाउ आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस इज बीइंग यूज्ड फॉर द पर्पसेस ऑफ परपेचुएटिंग क्राइम्स. साइबर क्राइम्स का तो बोलबाला चारों ओर चल ही रहा है, लेकिन अब एक नए प्रकार की एआई संबंधी क्राइम्स आ गए हैं जिसे हम आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस क्राइम्स बोलते हैं. टुडे AI crimes are growing in a phenomenal manner. We are beginning to see how AI will now be used for criminal activities against lawyers, against the legal fraternity, and for the purposes of targeting lawyers. So we will have to be mindful of how we make a judicious utilization of AI. Let's go for full collaboration, but with our eyes and ears open. Let's quickly realize that the courts will always see advocates and advocacy as the guardrails, as people who are going to apply their mind before they come up with extensive use of technology. It's not that only advocates need to be careful about AI. Even judges need to be careful of AI. I know of so many judges who try to get the first draft of their judgment from AI and then start working on it. But again, that intrinsic brings across new challenges of data protection, data privacy, and even issues of fairness, issues of authenticity, issues of ensuring non-discrimination. Because if you're going to rely upon AI, you don't know that how AI will behave and what kind of a data sets have been used for the purposes of training AI, and whether that set data sets, if they are corrupted data sets or malified data sets, could ultimately land up coming up with wrong outputs over a period of time. So all said and done, I can say it's a fascinating time. लेकिन हम इतिहास बनते हुए देख रहे हैं. हम उस इतिहास को बदल सकते हैं. हमें अपनी भूमिका के ऊपर ज्यादा महत्व तवज्जो देनी होगी. We must be mindful of how AI is developing. Start using AI, but in an experimental basis. Don't give your information to AI because AI has the propensity to go rogue. एक मुकदमा हुआ है जिसमें AI ने धमकी दी है एक व्यक्ति विशेष को कि भाई अगर आपने मुझसे सही तरीके से बात नहीं करी तो आपके लिए अच्छा नहीं होगा. तो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस जब इस लेवल तक जा रही है कि आपको धमकी दे सकती है, तो संभावित तौर पर एआई कुछ भी कर सकती है. पता लगा आपने आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एल्गोरिथम अपने सिस्टम में डाला, एआई इतनी ज्यादा आपसे खफा हो गई, उसने ऑटोमेटिकली कुछ काम कर दिया, पता लगा आपका डेटा उड़ा दिया, पता लगा आपके बारे में कुछ चीजें डाल दी, और फिर आपको आभास भी नहीं हुआ कि आपको आक्रमण किस दिशा से हुआ है. So let's learn to handle AI with care. Let's open our eyes to collaboration. Let's be mindful of the fact that artificial intelligence is work in progress, that it's still continuing. Let's be mindful of the issues that internet jurisdiction is as complex as artificial intelligence jurisdiction. AI program can be located anywhere else, but can cause wrongful loss, injury in another jurisdiction. Let's be mindful of the fact that AI is engaging in discrimination, is often not fair, and is neither transparent nor accountable. So in these kinds of ecosystem, as lawyers, we must start using AI or handling it with care and caution and wait for the further developments of AI. Let's be open to know more collaboration. Let's do the low-hanging fruits first. Let's do collaboration on non-legal matters first. And once we are convinced about the efficacy of AI, we can then slightly start moving on to the legal aspect. But I'm very clear, as of the current stage of development and evolution, AI is not adequate to deal with legal advice. और AI आपको अगर legal advice देगी भी, तो आपको पता नहीं उस legal advice में क्या क्या वो प्रकार के रास्ते या जाल छोड़ती जा रही है. So in a scenario like this, I think the bottom line is very clear. Caution, care, due diligence will be the mantra while we adopt collaboration, whole hog. AI is here to stay. मैं आपको नहीं कह रहा कि आप हिमालय चले जाइए, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस टेक्नोलॉजी से भाग जाइए. आप भाग नहीं पाएंगे. आप भागने की कोशिश भी करेंगे तो आपके क्लाइंट्स आपको विवश करेंगे इस टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल करें. So अगर हमें यहाँ रहना है, तो let's try to have a more golden balance towards ensuring that our original thought process does not get prejudicially impacted, that we as lawyers do not mortgage our duties of due diligence, application of human mind, application of empathy, because AI does not know empathy. हम लोग इंसान हैं, हम लोग sympathetic चीजों का एक sympathetic दृष्टिकोण रखते हैं, मशीन वो नहीं रखती. तो इसलिए हमारे पास वो चीज है जो मशीन के पास नहीं है. अगर हम उस चीज पर ज्यादा तवज्जो देंगे, ध्यान देंगे और मशीन के इनपुट्स को केवल इनपुट समझेंगे, केवल फाइनल प्रोडक्ट नहीं समझेंगे, then to a large extent we can be on a good phase of recovery, good phase of using technology in an experimental yet in a constructive manner. And finally, let's quickly realize that the face of our profession is going to change dramatically in the next 5 years thanks to artificial intelligence. Therefore, bar councils, bar associations will have to come up with new norms of how lawyers will have to deal with AI. But yes, to begin with, till such time those norms don't come up, it's our own caution and care that's going to be our guiding force as we move forward. I can just finally conclude by saying AI is here. AI is not going anywhere. The legal profession and advocacy have to now come up with new skill sets on how to deal with AI, and come up with new future strategies of how to deal with artificial intelligence, and have to come up with new future mindsets, because technology is changing, clients are changing, the mindsets of clients are changing, and that mindset change is requiring us to also change ourselves in terms of our orientation towards technology. Let's also realize that artificial intelligence is powering cybercrime in a big manner. So please don't give your necks to artificial intelligence, lest you know that you become a victim of artificial intelligence crimes. Let's handle this entire ecosystem with the appropriate duty of due diligence. The due diligence of a reasonable man, the test of a reasonable man will continue to guide us as we come up with more norms in this regard. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me this opportunity. Namaskar. Dhanyavad.
Thank you so much, sir. It was not just thought provoking, but I would say an acute eye opener. I had goosebumps listening to you. And like you said, we are living in fascinating times. But before AI, rather than becoming a friend, becomes a rogue, it is very, very important that we tread cautiously. Thank you so much. I think it would be great if AILF keeps doing these type of informative webinars with eminent personalities like you, who have so much to give public in general and advocates in particular. Thank you so much, sir. Over to Durgesh, sir, Vice President AILF. In case if anybody has any question, Durgesh, sir, you may take them.
So we have some questions from our viewers. So the first question is for Honorable Justice Talwan Singh ji. Mr. Dipansh asked that from your experience as a judge and a cyber law expert, how do you see AI transforming the way legal profession approach case preparation and advocacy? What to you, Justice Talwan sir?
He might be not available.
So I'll ask another question. There is a question for you, Dr. Pavan sir. So Divyansh asks us, as someone who has witnessed the evolution of technology in law, what advice would you give to your young advocates about leveraging AI responsible in their practice?
Well, I'll only want to give you one advice, which will be that use technology only as a compass, not as a means for walking the walk. We are lawyers, we'll have to walk the walk. If we want AI to walk the walk for us, it's not going to happen. So use AI, but handle it with care and caution. अगर आपको लगता है कि आपका मुकदमा फला जज के सामने पड़ा हुआ है, तो नो प्रॉब्लम, आप एआई का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं समझने के लिए कि जज का माइंडसेट क्या है, बट वो एक केवल इनपुट के तौर पर रखिए तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा. But if you 100% rely upon it, the chances are you're going to be surprised. Why? Because maybe AI would not have read the complete judgments of this Indian judge so far. Please, let's realize it. We are now traditionally still dealing with generative artificial intelligence, and this is general generative artificial intelligence. They have not been fed with a complete legal documentation and legal records as of date. That being so, they're not going to be that very accurate, though they can give you some broad pointers. So if you want to generate some points for arguments, no harm. You can do that. Maybe you can come up with certain case laws. But on case laws, I want you to caution. Please don't rely upon it, because I've been doing some myself testing on AI for Indian cases, and I've been myself seeing that AI is giving me inaccurate or false AI cases of India. First and foremost, the AI has not been, shall I say, trained on Indian data. Number two, Indian words, Indian names are still different, because most of this generative AI is built on Western world data. So you are bound to see inaccuracies there. Please do not forego your own research as you go forward. It might be a good idea if you want to summarize any documents using AI. That could be a good starting point. That can help you save time. Maybe you can substitute some of the work that some of your paralegals are doing by AI. But again, the test of the human eye will be of primary deciding factor, which is whatever comes in, you are not going to let that go off without that being run through your eyes. That means till such time you've not applied your mind, do not present it anywhere. do not file it anywhere, because it brings with it its own ramifications. You can be sued under the Consumer Protection Act for deficiency of service. You can be sued criminally. You can be sued under the IT Act. So let's quickly realize it, that use it, but carefully, responsibly. We are all talking about responsible AI, but AI is still not responsible yet. So let's not take as gospel truth what these service providers are telling us. It's a great idea as lawyers to read through the terms and conditions or the privacy policy of these platforms in order to understand what is the level of accuracy, what are they doing vis-a-vis limitation, and what's going to be your responsibility. Just to give an example, Chat GPT, in its terms and conditions, says you can use me for generating anything, but please remember, you will be responsible for what you generate. I will not be responsible. Number two, what you generate from my program, you can show that it's your intellectual property rights. I have no problem. But it will be nice if you can acknowledge the fact that this has been generated by this particular program. No wonder when I'm now looking at the number of increase of the number of authors on Amazon, then I find that number of authors have started writing there in the disclaimers and in the descriptions that I've written this book along with Chat GPT or this AI platform. And that's going to somehow impact the credibility over a period of time. So again, responsible use by lawyers at our own end without relying totally on the authenticity or correctness of what AI is telling us could be our best way forward as we go towards preparing and polishing our new advocacy skills. I hope that answers that question. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. So we have another question for Justice Talwan Singh ji.
Yeah,
Akriti asked,
Durgesh, sir, you're not audible.
yeah, can you hear me now?
yeah, I
I'm
can hear
audible?
you.
Yeah, so we
Can you
have
hear
another
me?
question. Yeah, we can hear you, sir. So we have Akriti who has asked us that having served as a judge, do you believe AI could ever play a role in decision making in courtroom? And if so, what boundaries should exist to maintain fairness and impartiality? What do you, Justice
Yeah,
Talwan Singh?
basically in European Human Rights Court, they have already made an experiment, and they fed all their judgments in the AI machines, and on the basis of that, the facts of a new case they have fed in. They started feeding the facts of the new cases, and the accuracy level of AI was around 85%, which is, I think, fairly a good number, because even as judges, I presume that our efficiency, our decisions are not more than 85% correct, because some of our decisions are set aside by the High Court, or District Court decisions are set by the High Court decisions are set aside by the Supreme Court. So AI, again, as Mr. Duggal has, Dr. Duggal has pointed out, AI cannot replace the human being, but it can be used as an aid in decision making. So on the same facts, what is AI's view, what is my view, then I think we can combine both of them and reach to a logical conclusion. It's an aid. It will help us, help the judiciary to reach a reasonable decision. A decision which is based upon facts, a decision which is based on the legal research which can be done in minutes with the help of AI. But replacement in the near future is not possible.
So we have another question from Mayank, sir. Given your background, what are some ethical dilemma you foresee in integrating AI into judicial system, and how can they be addressed without compromising human judgment?
Basically, I think Mr. Duggal has again pointed out those things that AI we are already extensively using in judiciary. We are, as I stated during my lecture also, my initial introduction, we are using AI for traffic challan system. I think all those low value, you can say, cases or where much human intervention is not required. Of course, they can be taken off the board from the courts, and AI can take over those cases, so that judges are left with more time to concentrate on serious offences like traffic challans. Traffic challans, if anybody is familiar with that, it has got either the court can admonish you, that is that without fining you, you can be let off, or they can impose a fine, and there is a always a outer limit defined. Okay, up to 500, up to 2000 and all. And in some offenses, the fine amount is a fixed and static fine amount. So depending upon why you have jumped a red light. If you say I have jumped a red light because my ailing mother was there in my car and I wanted to reach the hospital in time, here is her prescription slip or the emergency when I took her to the hospital. This is what she was diagnosed with. If you are producing this document before the court, naturally court will take a sympathetic view. You may be let off only with a warning, that is, you may be admonished. So similarly, this will happen in every case. So once the AI has got this basic information that if somebody has jumped a red line because of a medical emergency, so that person is to be admonished. So you produce these documents before the AI judge. So naturally, the decision is going on these lines. If you have done this offense, then this is going to be the punishment. So these routine cases which are clogging the court, they can be taken off the board of the judges and AI can take care of that, but under human supervision. There should be a final judge to put his take that yes, this, the decision arrived at by the AI is correct. So this is what we feel. If we leave the AI as it is, or if we leave the AI only at the mercy of, you can say, AI judge at the mercy of the technology, I think it can play havoc. The human supervision and human intervention is always required. In Supreme Court, I was part of the AI committee until I retired for the last, I think, 3 years of my tenure. I was part of the AI committee. So there, the Honorable Supreme Court is very serious and they are trying to implement the translation of Supreme Court's judgment in the native language of the parties. It's a very, you can say, commendable and laudable step on the part of Supreme Court because ultimately the courts exist for the benefit of the litigants. And if the litigant doesn't know what is written in the judgment, I think the judgment is of no use. Judgments are not written for law journals or for lawyers. They are written for the parties. So this effort, we have, I think, attained an accuracy level of, you can say, 90% plus. It can't be 100% accurate because it takes time to learn. So that once that training part is complete, machine learning part is complete, and we reach the accuracy level of, let us say, 97, 98%, I think ultimately we may not be exactly 100% correct in translation, but the effect of the judgment, the essence of the judgment will be conveyed to the litigant, which is humanly not possible. There are judgments which run into thousands of pages. Who is going to translate them? And there is already a lack of translators, not only in court, but in the country as a whole. So I think that is a step where the AI will be of great help. The impediments, whichever we feel, the impediments are on technology side also, because the technological advancements, they want the higher level of computing power, which is generally not available with the courts as on date. We work on our limited resources. Only the high courts and Supreme Court, they are the privileged courts, which have got sufficient funds to go for the latest high-powered machines, but district courts are lagging behind because, as you may be knowing it, the justice is a state subject. It's not a federal or a central government subject. So it depends upon which state you live in. So the level of computerization, level of implementation of AI or AI-based technology will be depending only on that. In states like Delhi, Maharashtra, Andhra, and Kerala to some extent, Kerala of course is on board, and Andhra Pradesh, I think the governments are proactively involved to see that the all new technologies are implemented. Other states have got their own issues, own priorities and their own issues. So it will take some time for the AI to be there, practically. Yeah, I think that answers the question.
So we have another question for Dr. Pavan. Anshika asks us, in your view, how can AI enhance access to justice, particularly for marginalized community, and what safeguards should be in place to prevent misuse?
For that, AI will have to be made more accountable, more responsible. Today, if you want to use AI for ensuring that marginalized sections of the society are brought into the mainstream, you have to first ensure that the AI understands the intrinsic importance of marginalization as a phenomenon, the different characteristics of the marginalized sections of the society, and what steps need to be taken. A lot of times you will find that AI will give you solutions which are non-workable, giving solutions which are illegal, which are illogical, and often which may not be having the element of human empathy. But yes, some broad parameters AI can definitely be used. For example, the existing sociological data can be fed into AI. And they said, look, with these kinds of social inequalities that exist, how can AI be used as a tool for effective administration of justice and for bringing marginalized sections of society into the mainstream of administration ecosystem? Surely we can get inputs from AI, but then those inputs don't have to be taken as gospel truth. They have to be married by a customized approach as to what is existing ground reality, because AI is not aware of existing ground reality. AI only looks at facts, what is the data that's fed in, and on that basis then decides what should be the most logical or most correct information or response that the AI needs to give up. A lot of times you'll find that AI is giving you bombastic stuff which is not reliable. For example, in a recent case, which is involving an Indian student had gone to America and was obviously not getting the right kind of admission, so started asking and talking with AI. And then the AI said, "You are useless. You are a burden on society. You need to go and commit suicide, kill yourself." Now,
I,
if this is the output that AI is currently giving up, which opened up alarm signals, the Indian student reported. The company said, "We are looking into the matter." But then this is showing you the deviant nature of AI going rogue. So when you are going to deal with this very sensitive topics of trying to ensure maximum administration of justice to marginalization sections of society, then you have to be mindful of the fact that these delicate kind of subjects cannot be left to the subjective discretion or the subjective logic of AI alone. Humans have to play their own important role. So take some inputs, but don't rely upon that, because AI doesn't know human empathy. AI is still not fed up with ethical principles and ethical foundations that humans have. And number three, AI is hallucinating a lot. Much that your service providers are telling you that there's no hallucination, sorry, you're mistaken. अ, हम लोग सब झूठ बोलते हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं वो झूठ की एक प्रतिबिंब हमारी शक्ल पर आ जाती है। लेकिन जब आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस झूठ बोलता है, तो वो इतने बेखूबी तरीके से बोलता है और इतनी कॉन्फिडेंटली बोलता है कि मनुष्यों को वो कन्विंस कर देता है कि मैं जो झूठ बोल रहा हूँ झूठ नहीं सत्य है, और मनुष्य उस प्रकार के इनपुट को सत्य मानना प्रारंभ कर देते हैं. Therefore, the need for us to take guardrails, need for us to be careful when we are asking the decision of AI on these crucial issues is very, very important. But ultimately, it will have to be left with the political will of the concerned governments at the relevant times as to how they use AI for the purpose of going ahead and further preserving and enhancing the cause of social equality while ensuring maximum administration of justice in a free, fair, and impartial manner in that regard. I hope that answers that question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, as time is concerned, I'll be taking the last question here. So, which says, how can AI be effectively utilized to support judicial clerk in their responsibility, and what potential benefit or challenges do you foresee in implementation?
Yeah, Pavan, you want to take this question?
No, sir, you
Either of
take it. You
can
are a
answer.
judge. Yeah, please go ahead.
No, actually, the problem with judicial clerk, now judicial clerk is basically a relative term. In US, we say judicial clerk of a law intern, who works with the judge. Okay, that is the essence, of course, in research it will be of some use. If you're talking about a judicial clerk, a clerk who works in the judiciary, then I think the parameter will be different. But AI can definitely assist in judicial system in any form. So even if you have to do the legal research, which is done by the Delhi, you can say law researchers, we call them, in Delhi High Court. So again, because they get their call list and the files by 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the evening, they have to go through all the briefs and prepare the brief notes for the honorable judges, which should reach on their table by 9 o'clock or by 10 o'clock, because they have to in the night. Those 3-4 hours are very crucial for law clerks or judicial clerk. I don't know in which way this term has been used by the person who has asked the question. So I think it can expedite their work and they can become more, you can say, useful to the judges with whom they are attached. Similarly, even in the normal judicial system, we say that judicial clerk is a clerk who works with the court. So his day-to-day work, preparation of, you can say, summons and service of summons, then indexing the file, all these manual works can be taken over by AI. Is what I believe. Thank you.
So,
I completely endorse what Justice Singh has said, and actually, but the only one caveat is judicial clerks must inform and forewarn in advance, forewarn the judge that, sir,
Yeah.
I've used AI for this, so that the judge is not taken by surprise. Otherwise, intrinsic thought process could be impacted. Otherwise, I think it's a great tool.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Pawan, just a last question for our viewers. Basically, these days, lots of complaints are coming about digital arrest and about the securities being there compromised of their emails and all. So, any advice for our viewers and members, like how can they be like protect their to have not getting into such kind of threats or not getting into such kind of frauds? So, any advice for our members, like if you can provide?
Well, I can only advise all of you to say that as lawyers, let's remember one thing. With the coming of COVID-19 and it's going away, the golden age of cybercrime has begun. And this golden age will be with us for the next many decades. So let's not think that we are lawyers and we can't become victims of cybercrime. I've seen so many cases where lawyers are becoming victims of cybercrime per se. Some key things that you must today start incorporating. वो कहते हैं ना कि शक दिमाग में नहीं डालना चाहिए, लेकिन मुझे लगता है वो आज वो युग आ गया है जब हमें अपने दिमाग में शक डाल देना चाहिए. जो इंफॉर्मेशन हम देख रहे हैं, पढ़ रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं, उसको शक के नजरिए से देखें. You must now inculcate an element of distrust and mistrust in your minds in whatever information that you are seeing. Till such time, you have not independently authenticated the correctness or veracity of such information. Number two, समय आ गया है कि अब हम अपने फोन्स पर अनजान नंबर्स के कॉल्स ना लें तो अच्छा रहेगा, because these unknown calls are opening up a Pandora's box of cybercrime. चलिए, अगर आपने फोन ले भी लिया, the third thumb rule is do not please engage in a video call with an unknown number. Why? Because that could be definite pure simplicity a trap to put you into a cybercrime kind of a situation. Number three, assuming you've done the mistake of picking up the unknown number, opening up the call, and you see a policeman on the other side. If somebody is trying to put fear or terror in your minds, or is trying to push you to take action because of some urgency, then that's your final nail in the coffin to say, look, this is a distinctive classical manifestation of cybercrime. Please exercise your power of disconnecting. हम लोगों को क्या लगता है कि जी चलो कॉल चलने दें, पता नहीं शायद हम कुछ मिस ना कर दें. ये जो फियर ऑफ मिसिंग आउट है, ये बहुत ज्यादा हम पर हावी हो गया है. मुझे लगता है इस फियर ऑफ मिसिंग आउट को टाटा बाय बाय करने का टाइम आ गया है. वी शुड not engage in any kind of conversations with people that we don't know. Let's learn to start adopting cybersecurity as a way of life. Again, your due diligence, care, and caution will be your mantras as lawyers, as digital users. And please, my final words of caution. Please don't be part of the great Indian vomiting revolution. आज भारत में एक नई क्रांति चल रही है, भारत की उल्टी की क्रांति, जहां पर भारतवासी उल्टी कर रहे हैं अपने डेटा की इंटरनेट पर बिना सोचे समझे कि उसका क्या परिणाम होने वाला है उनकी निजता पर या अन्य अधिकारों पर. So please don't start vomiting your data online. Start sharing information on a need to know basis. Be careful, cautious, duly diligent, and let's not try to rely upon the Indian Jugaad school of management, because on the internet, your Jugaad may not work, but ultimately your Jugaad may land up you to become a much more severe victim of cybercrime as we go forward. But again, it's your basic common sense. If you utilize that, then to a large extent, you can prevent yourself from becoming a victim of these kinds of cybercrimes. Thanks.
Sir, may I request on the last question? So, what is the meaning of digital arrest? So today, if you the newspaper in the morning, So we saw the newspaper that someone is comes under the डिजिटल अरेस्ट. तो सर डिजिटल अरेस्ट का क्या सिंपल मीनिंग में हम अपने व्यूअर्स को समझा सकते हैं, वो क्या होता है, प्लीज सर.
देखिए, डिजिटल अरेस्ट एक नया प्रकार का कॉन्सेप्ट है जो साइबर क्रिमिनल्स ने पॉपुलराइज किया है. हम वकील हैं, हमें पता है कि जब किसी को आपने गिरफ्तार करना है तो फिजिकली जाके गिरफ्तार करना है. सो अरेस्ट इज ऑलवेज फिजिकल. However, what started happening is that from 1st of July 2024, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita has come into force. तो साइबर क्रिमिनल्स ने एक नया फिक्शन, एक नया नैरेटिव दौड़ा दिया है. वो ये कि साहब अब नया लॉ में बदलाव आ गया है. अब लॉ हमें अलाउ करता है कि हम टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से आपको गिरफ्तार कर सकते हैं. So therefore, lot of people get into fear and panic and then try to follow decisions or inputs or directions given to them on technology by unknown people. एक तो हमारी मानसिकता है कि अगर पुलिस की यूनिफॉर्म में किसी बंदे को देख लें तो लोग घबरा जाते हैं. तो लोग एक बार पुलिस की यूनिफॉर्म में कोई बंदा ढूंढते हैं, देखते हैं ऑनलाइन, तो उन्हें लगता है कि साहब ये तो पुलिस वाला आ गया है, चलो उनकी बात मान ली जाए. So the reality is there's nothing known as digital arrest under law. लॉ में डिजिटल अरेस्ट नाम की चीज है ही नहीं. लॉ केवल फिजिकल अरेस्ट की बात करता है. तो कोई भी अगर आपको डिजिटल अरेस्ट की बात करे तो प्लीज डिसरिगार्ड, disconnect. That is your biggest power that you currently have. Hali, we have got one of our clients that lost more than 6 crore rupees in a digital arrest matter. In yet another matter that I'm dealing with, the client lost about 4 crore and about 95 lakhs. तो जब लोग इतने बड़े 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 क्वांटम्स ऑफ मनी डिजिटल अरेस्ट के माध्यम से इन साइबर क्रिमिनल्स को दे रहे हैं, तो मुझे लगता है अभी नींद से जगने का समय आ गया है. अगर कोई आपको किसी प्रकार से पुश करता है, पैनिक में डालता है, डर में डालता है, तो कहीं ना कहीं आपको डिजिटल अरेस्ट की दिशा में ले जा रहा है. तुरंत फोन को डिस्कनेक्ट करिए, फोन को स्विच ऑफ करिए और उस नंबर को बिल्कुल ब्लॉक कर दीजिए. बिकॉज यू डोंट डू दैट और आप डर के पाबंदी में आ गए तो कहीं ना कहीं आप अपनी जेब से पैसे देते जाएंगे. आई हैव अ रीसेंट केस, और इस रीसेंट केस में एक नया ट्रेंड निकल कर आया है. यहाँ पे डिजिटल अरेस्ट हुआ है, लेकिन जो साइबर क्रिमिनल्स हैं उन्होंने एक नया पैंतरा ऐड कर दिया है. वो ये है, उन्होंने कहा है कि साहब आप डिजिटल अरेस्ट में हैं, हमने आपके घर के चारों ओर शार्प शूटर्स तैनात कर रखे हैं. कोई कलाकारी करी तो हमारे शूटर्स आपको वहीं के वहीं ढेर कर देंगे, मार देंगे. अब जब आपको ये पता लग जाए कि साहब मेरी फैमिली के हर फैमिली के बंदे के ऊपर एक शार्प शूटर बैठा हुआ है, तो बंदा कहता है भाई मेरी जान छोड़िए, जो पैसे लेना लीजिए. मुझे लगता है टाइम इज कम. लेट्स नॉट rely upon what people are saying. Let's not believe them. Let's go on our own gut feeling. Let's disconnect these calls. And there's nothing known as digital arrest. No agency has got the power under law to digitally arrest you. So let's create more awareness. And again, by being cautious, by adopting more cyber hygiene, cyber due diligence, we can avoid becoming victims of digital arrest. I hope that
Indeed.
answers that question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Indeed, a very useful information for all our viewers. So, over to our chairman, Vinod Goyal ji. Sir, we
विनोद
can't
जी,
able to hear you.
अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ विनोद जी.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Mr. Justice Talwan Singh ji and Dr. Pavan Duggal. Such a nice webinar, and for our very short notice, you spare your valuable time for us. And as previously has already been given by Mr. Duggal, and we already always indebted to you. And in a very simple manner, how you teach how to explore the information to our viewers. It's a very nice way, sir. The एक कोट्स जो आपने दिए, आग का दरिया है और डूब के जाना है, एंड द रामपुरी नाइफ इज देयर. इट्स सच अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल कोट, एंड द कॉमन पीपल कैन अंडरस्टैंड वेरी इजीली द थिंग्स हाउ द कितना उनके लिए खतरनाक चीजें हो सकती हैं. तो एआई का यूज करें, लेकिन एआई का यूज के ऊपर डिपेंड नहीं होना है. 100% रिलायबिलिटीज नहीं लेनी है. यूज योर ऑन माइंड. Don't depend on the AI. That the moral of the story is that. And finally, I want to give the vote of thanks. Before starting the vote of thanks, I just say the only two lines. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt by the heart. Thank you is one such prayer that embodies this sentiment. So, I, Vinod Kumar Goyal, advocate and chairman of All India Lawyers Forum, on behalf of our national and state teams and in my personal capacity, extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to our chief guest, retired Honorable Justice Sri Talwan Singh ji, former judge of High Court of Delhi. I also extend my sincere gratitude to our special guest, Mr. Pavan Duggal, advocate Supreme Court of India and a cyber law expert. Respected guests, you enlightening address on the topic artificial intelligence and advocacy was motivational and deeply informative. Your valuable insights enriched our webinar and inspired all the participants. Thank you for sparing your precious time for this event and sharing your such profound perspective. I would also like to thank all the participants of their involvement, which made today's webinar meaningful and impactful. Lastly, I extend my gratitude to our national and state executive teams, including me and our co-chairman, Mr. Vikas Verma, the former Additional Advocate General, the President, National Executive, Mr. Abhinav Singh, Senior Counsel of UP, MP, and Delhi State at Supreme Court of India, our Vice President, Mr. Durgesh Gupta, Advocate on Record, our Secretaries, Mr. Vikrant Dhama, Advocate, and Naveen Gupta, Advocate, Treasurer, Mr. Balraj Puri, Advocate, our Foreign Division Coordinator, Ms. Pragya Parijat Singh, Advocate on Record, and from Cambridge University, UK. Academic Division Coordinator, Professor Dr. Mohit Sarma. Communication in charge, Ms. Preeti Sirohi, Advocate, Supreme Court of India, and our coordinators, Ms. Kanchan Tripathi, Advocate, and Paras Sarma, Advocate. Our student coordinators, Mr. Subham Singhal and Mr. Parikshit. And thank you to all of you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Namaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Bye. Bye.